Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the 2-game NBA main slate on Monday. Before I get in the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings, and I also make videos for NBA Top Shot. Be on the lookout for my channel for more Top Shot content coming very, very soon, possibly even tomorrow. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I also upload an Apple Podcast. Link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. And if you could, leave a 5-star rating and review. That would help me out a ton. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on Patreon.com, an esports package that includes Call of Duty and CSGO. And I also offer an NBA package where we break down the main slate as well as the late showdown slate. And finally, I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode. If this is your first time watching my videos or you're not familiar with Prize Picks, there are 2 different ways you can play. So the first way, the original way, is you take over/under on fantasy points. So they'll post like fantasy scores. And again, you either take over/under. So Embiid 55, right? Do you like the under or the over? For me, it's the over. I think he's been dominating so far in this series as long as the game stays competitive. I think Embiid goes over 55. You can also play single stat, right? So this should be, let me refresh the single stat and go back to NBA. It's not posted yet. Okay, so, but they'll have that posted probably tomorrow morning, where you can take over/under on a points, assists, rebounders, even 3-pointers made. So let's just take a look at some other ones for fantasy scores that I kind of like. So, let's see. With DeAndre Hunter out, I think Kevin Huerter and Gallinari, those are the 2 guys that get the biggest boost minutes wise. 19 and 21 seem a little bit low for both of them. So maybe get the over on both those 2. Again, they should get more run again with DeAndre Hunter out. Now, we do have news that after Danny Green is going to be out for a little bit, so my guess is going to be a combination of like Shake Milton and Korkmaz that get those minutes. We'll see who ends up starting. If they do start Shake, like obviously I like the over there at 10. My guess, though, is he comes on the bench and maybe hovers in the 20-minute range. The one concern there, though, with Shake Milton is it still feels like Doc Rivers might go the hot hand. So if he struggles, they could go to Maxey, they go to George Hill, right? So there's still some risk there. Let's see. In game 2, again, they have Mike Conley posted. I'm still guessing he doesn't play. If he doesn't play, I'm looking to the over on Ingles and Clarkson. They get the biggest minutes bump plus the biggest usage bump, and obviously Mitchell as well. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Pat Beverly, 11.5. He's not looked good. He has not looked good when he's been out there. And the Clippers have been messing with the rotation. I think his minutes could go down here. So maybe like the under on a guy like Pat Beverly. All right. And finally, I just want to give you guys a special shout out to all you guys coming in and checking out the YouTube videos every day, hitting that like button, the live streams, and hitting the like button. Again, it helps me out more than you know. And thank you to all the super chats as well in the live streams, and everyone on Twitter. We had a couple of big nights, so congrats to you guys. And yeah, if you guys do enjoy this content, if you could, leave the like button on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload videos and you know when I go live, because I will be going live tomorrow. Make sure to check out that live stream. I'll break down the slate again and answer any questions you guys have. Let's try to aim for 150 likes on this video. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, so before we talk about players and the prices for this 2-game slate, we can look back my lineup here from Sunday's slate. So Sunday got pushed out of the cash at the very end. A little bit tilted about it, but it is what it is. So first game, continue to stack it. It continues to blow out. Oh, man. That series so far, this is the series that's the most excited to watch. We've had blowout. Game 3 goes under 65 points in the total, and then blowout the other way. Oh, man. Tilted for sure. The one letdown here for me was Bruce Brown. Obviously, I did not expect 7 first-half minutes. Thank you very much, Steve Nash. And then he gets benched in the second half, too. Doesn't start. So that was definitely tilting after 38 minutes the previous game for Bruce Brown. Again, I wasn't expecting 38, but I was thinking over 30 probably, and he got his minutes slashed by a lot. So a little bit frustrated. He was very popular, 61%. If I just go Jay Crowder there over Brown, which I definitely could have, I'm having a massive night. I'm in the top probably 2%. So one switch like that can make a huge difference, but it is what it is. Drew Holiday, again, obviously, they got hurt by the blowout. Losing about 4 minutes is massive from KD, from Middleton, from Drew Holiday. huge, right? If they play those final 4 minutes, it's probably a different slate. I'm probably in the cash even with Bruce Brown. So the blowout hurt. Obviously, I was a little bit tilted, too, of Steve Nash pulling the plug very early. Down by only 15 with 5 minutes left, and he pulls the starters. I would have got that if it was a regular season game, but in the postseason, they definitely still had a chance. So, yeah, I think that was 100% the wrong move there by Steve Nash. Let's see. Brook Lopez, that was a pretty easy value play. He was 80% owned. Not surprised at all. That was too cheap for him. Talked about Chris Paul, how he was a must for me. Only 73%. I actually thought it would have been a little bit higher. Went for 54 fantasy points. You guys knew I really like Barton, and I hinted at that he might start. He did end up starting. He went for 38 fantasy points, only 45% owned. And then Cam Johnson was my filler play. He was all right for 12 fantasy points. I wasn't expecting a ton. But, yeah, that's it, guys. Again, Bruce Brown, that game's his competitive. I'm probably cashing. Or I just switched Jay Crowder to Bruce Brown. It's a massive night for me. But, yeah, I know a lot of you guys had some good nights, so congrats to all of you, and let's see if we can keep it rolling for this 2-gamer. All right, so 76ers and Hawks, a 225.5 over-under. 76ers 3.5-point favorites, and Jazz Clippers 223.5 over-under. Clippers 4.5-point favorites. So we'll start off with Philadelphia. And, I mean, Joel Embiid, he continues to be lower owned than he should, in my opinion, in these 2-gamers. He was 10% here, like 30% here. I think he's only like 50% in this one. I'm fine going right back to him. It's just because he's going to play, like in a competitive game, he's going to play 38 minutes. So, yeah, I really, really like Embiid here. Probably my favorite spend up on the board. With Tobias and Ben Simmons, they're both secondary plays for me. If you land on either of them, I don't think it's the worst idea, but they don't like really stand out, right? Tobias going to play big minutes, same with Ben Simmons, but they just seem, again, priced right. Seth Curry at 5-1 also seems like a fair price for him. Should play about 30 minutes. A little bit more reliant on the scoring, which makes him somewhat risky, but yeah, fair play too. Dwight Howard at 3-6. I mean, could he get it done in like 10 minutes on the bench? Sure. I mean, he's a decent point per guy, but I don't think I target him unless you think this is a blowout or like Embiid gets in early foul trouble. Now, where it gets interesting here is who's going to fill in for Danny Green. I think it's going to be a combo mainly of Korkmaz and Shake Milton. So Korkmaz at 3.5. He played 27 minutes at last game. He is very reliant on scoring. My guess is he picks up the start. If he does, I think he makes for a pretty solid value. Again, the only issue is he is super, super reliant on the scoring. Maxi's basically been out of the rotation last couple games, so hard to trust him. And Shake Milton got 20 minutes. He played really well 2 games ago, was already in 21 minutes. So I think it's a combination of Milton and Korkmaz that pick up the slack there. I like both for value. I think George Hill probably picks up a couple extra minutes too. I think he goes a little bit lower owned of that bunch. And then Thibault, because his defense, probably he gets around 20 minutes. But again, he kind of needs those peripheral stats, those blocks, steals to really get there. So let's move on to Atlanta. And Trae Young at 9-2. Kind of a must-win game, right down 2-1. I think they need to win this game if they have a chance in the series. Back-to-back, just subpar games, 43 and 44 fantasy points. Obviously, it's not the best matchup for Trae, but I do kind of like him here. I think he's going to come out a little more aggressive on the offensive end here, even in a tougher matchup. So do like Trae at the top. Once again, I'll continue to pass on Capella against Embiid. Don't really want to go there. The secondary plays for Atlanta, I think, look pretty good for the prices. So Bogdan's been pretty safe. Should play big minutes. Had a couple subpar games, 27 and 26. But besides that, he's been going over 30 every single night. So I think he's a safer option. Same with John Collins. Should play around, 33 to 35 minutes. He's a guy that's a decent rebounder, can score the ball. I think he makes for a pretty solid play in the mid-range. And then Herter, Gallinari. This duo gets a big bump with no DeAndre Hunter. Gallinari actually played a little bit more last game. He played 26 and 30 minutes for him, back-to-back games. Well, Kevin Herter was the absolute chalk and was a massive bust. 1 of 6 shooting, only 5 fantasy points, also 4 fouls. I'm not super worried about it. I do think Herter bounces back here and probably pushes for 30 minutes. So it's a combo of Herter, Gallinari, I think are good, decent values as well. I'm not going to go to Solomon Hill, who probably starts but only plays 10 to 15 minutes. And then Lou Williams at 3-1, I think gets around 10 to 15 minutes on the bench. I guess it's not the worst play because he's a good offensive player, but that's where I'm at for the Atlanta Hawks. So let's move on to Utah and the Clippers. On the Utah side, Conley still questionable. If I had to guess, I don't think he'll be ready for this one because it's that hamstring. With that being said, Mitchell, I think it makes for a really good play at the top. He rolled that ankle but was available to return. I mean, the only thing to really worry about with Mitchell is the ankle. if he plays his full minutes here and this game stays close, I think he makes for a really good play at 9K, right? He missed a lot of that fourth quarter and still went for 47 fantasy points. So I like Mitchell a lot there at the top. Rudy Gobert, the price dropped a little bit at 7-4. I mean, he should be able to dominate against this small ball front court, but he really hasn't, right? 29 fantasy points, 2 of the last 3 games. I think it's a fair play. You guys know I don't like playing Gobert, but you got to figure, like, again, he should be able to eat the glass. He hasn't had the one big game yet in the series. And Conley himself, if he does play, I probably would pass on. I think they would limit his minutes. But again, if he's out, it's Clarkson and Ingles to get the biggest boost. So Clarkson did play over 30 minutes last game. He had a subpar shooting game, but I still think he's a decent tournament play. I think Ingles looks a little bit better point per dollar, 5K. Should get around 30 minutes. Had a better shooting game the last time out. So again, Ingles, Clarkson, the 2 guys that get the biggest usage bump there with Mike Conley if he's out. Bojan at 5-6. You know, in a bad shooting game, that's the issue with Bojan, right? If he doesn't shoot the ball well, he has a low floor, but the minutes should be there for him. So, and the prices come down to a point where it's like, okay, I'm actually fine if you want to roll the dice on him. Like, he's going to play 35-plus minutes. He's actually been doing a good job defensively, too. And then Royce O'Neal. Like, he's been good defensively, too. He should play big minutes. So, really, I'm pretty high, actually, a lot of these secondary plays for the Jazz. Like, if there's no Conley, I think Clarkson, Bojan, Ingles, Royce all look pretty good. Probably not getting to Niang. And then Favors should play the backup 5. He's not been great last couple of games, but normally he's a pretty decent point per minute guy. So if you need some of the flat man price, I think Favors is the guy you look to. All right, so let's finish up with the Clippers. Kawhi and Paul George at the top. I definitely prefer Paul George for the discount. $1,400 cheaper. He should play about 40 minutes in a competitive game. 37 fancy points in a game. He shot 4 of 17, and then 49, 45. I do like Paul George a good amount there at that price. Kawhi Leonard still in play too, but again, I would rather take the discount on Paul George. I think he looks better point per dollar. With a guy like Reggie Jackson, I think we get about 30 minutes from him. He's been shooting the ball really well in this series. I think he makes for a pretty good play in the mid-range. Again, they need kind of his offense. He's been their number 3 guy so far. Now, they did start the small ball lineup last game with Batum and Morris. Assuming Batum starts again, I like him for value because he played 35 minutes. And I've been hammering this home. I think Batum should be playing more in the series. I do. I think he's a really good player right now. A 3-and-D guy that's, again, good defender, can knock down some shots. I like Batum if he starts again at 4-5. And I have some interest in Morris as well. He got his minutes cut only to 22. But I do think if they start small, that Morris and Batum probably push for over 30 minutes in this game if it stays close. So I like both the combo Batum-Morris for value. Zubac, I would assume he comes off the bench and get around 15 minutes, which makes him playable. Obviously, it's riskier targeting him off the bench, but I still think he's someone that's in play because he's a decent point per minute guy. Rondo went from 28 minutes to a DNP. So the bench on the Clippers is just super hard to trust. Ty Lue's been messing the rotations. He's been going back and forth with some guys. So you just don't know. Like, I would not be surprised if Rondo plays in this game and plays 20 minutes and crushes like no ownership. I could see it happening, right? Whereas like Pat Beverly, yes, he's gotten minutes last couple of games, but like he has not played well. I do not think he should be on the court. I think he is. He should not be playing. I would rather have Rondo out there. I'd rather have Terrence Mann out there than a guy like Pat Beverly. He just brings nothing into the court, in my opinion. Luke Kennard at 3-2. Minutes kind of all over the place too. 29, then 10, then 17. I mean, I'm thinking around 15-ish minutes. If he shoots well, maybe they send him a little bit, but definitely a risky GPP only play. And then Terrence Mann, basically DNP first couple games, and then 22 minutes the last game. So it's like, what is going on in this bench rotation, right? If I had to guess, I would say Mann gets somewhat similar minutes because I think he played decent, but it's just hard to trust. It really is. Like, I would also not be surprised if Mann gets a DNP here. Again, Tyler Lue just seems to be messing the rotations too much, so you can't go to anyone with confidence on the bench for the LA Clippers, in my opinion. And then Boogie Cousins, he also got a DNP last game. So, that's kind of my with the Clippers. I think, the top 2 guys look good. I think Reggie's a solid play in the mid-range. Batum and Morris, if they both start again, I think are good values. The rest, it's just really hard to trust what the minutes are going to be like for the bench guys for the Clippers. All right, but that's going to do it for the video today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload videos and you know when I go live. Again, I will be live tomorrow. Make sure to check it out, guys. Thanks again. Have a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.